the thing I really wanted to talk to you about is you guys have a new product launch that we've participated in. I've really enjoyed it. So I thought the folks at home that are wondering about, how to get visible or how to continue growing their visibility, what something that I think they could take advantage of. Can you talk a little bit about fencecompany.com?
Yeah, it's a passion project for me. It really is. It was something that I felt like looking at some of the larger organizations and franchises that actually operate online, um, and studying and digging into the data there and why they're performing the way they're performing. That's kind of part of what we do in general, not just for franchises, but for other things. I mean, our whole motto is outfoxing the competition. How can we help you outfox your competition if we don't know what your competition's doing? So that's part of our forensic dig into finding these things. So when we were doing that, we started identifying this trend that was happening with one of the larger franchises, and I started to think, how can we leverage this? So in essence, this franchise, every time they would open up a branch, it was almost like they set up a, a tower, and it was sending out a signal to Google. And every time it was happening like that, and I was seeing this happening. And of course, I know about location pages. The thing about location pages on your actual website is that it's limited to the service area. It's limited to your reach. Okay. Most digital marketing agencies are doing them in some form or fashion. But I was like, for the general service contractor that's only reaching a certain service area, they can't get signals like Joe. You can't get signals really from Houston,
Sure.
or from Washington or wherever. These far away places. You're not getting those signals from those places, and this franchise or multiple franchises that do this type of model actually are getting signals. So what's
Mm.
happening is those signals are coming in, and it's building up the mother website, if you will. And I said, man, there's got to be a way to make this work for local contractors. And then I paired that with the idea of, what if we did some sort of directory? And the problem with directories are that they're also very limited. You're basically, anytime you sign up for a directory, you fill out a few things, right, and you get like this one little directory listing. But the idea was, what if we could keep the brand? Because I'm big on consistency. What if we can keep things looking fresh? Like, someone hits it, they look like they're at Ozark Fence. There's no questions about who this company is, what they are doing, what they're all about. And so
Absolutely.
that's what led us into the fencecompany.com uh, solution. So,
Got it. So can we dive into a little bit about, so that's a really good explanation of kind of why, but what, like, let's get into the meat and potatoes on what is it, and how. So I've got a great website. Obviously, you guys build it, manage it. It's done really well. When I read through your description of it, so you had opened this up to clients first, and you sent out an email. I read through the email. I was like, this makes so much sense. But for those that haven't gotten an email similar to that, or just maybe need a few more explanations, can you dive into, like I said, the meat and potatoes of exactly what it is?
sure. So it is, each page is actually a micro site. Each page that we build is built and treated like its own separate website.
Okay.
Uh, and we do that by leveraging the subdomain of fencecompany.com. And it all kind of works together because those subdomains actually all feed together to build out a network, if you will. And so, really, each city that we build is its own separate website, and Google sees it as its own separate site.
Sure.
Um, So it really is like setting up that tower and that signal, except for the fact that not only are you benefiting from the customers that you're signaling out to, but every customer that comes in, everyone else that's a part of this network can all share in that. So you've probably heard of domain authority before. It's
Mhm.
actually a score that Moz came up with a long time ago. Moz is a SEO authority. Um, it's not a Google number, but it's something that we use in the industry to kind of mark things. So basically, it takes a few different metrics and it pulls them together to create a score.
Okay.
Um, well, what happens with this fencecompany.com project is that we're seeing as the scores start to raise, because we were starting at zero, as the
Mhm.
scores have started to raise, everyone is getting that. So people that come on today are going to get the score for the same for the website. So instead of starting at zero, you're starting
Yeah.
right where everyone else is, and it's
Nice.
just continuing to snowball.
So is this similar to location pages, but on just like a supercharged like basis?
Yeah. So
Because I
think
know
about.
on
Go ahead.
in the past, like for ozfence.com, which is ours, we've had sub location pages, right? So,
Yes.
Republic and Ozark and Nixon, this and that. And they've done great. I mean, we go in and we look at the tracking, they do great.
Yeah.
But what it sounds like is you took that idea and just supercharged it to where now talking about domain authority, now we're not only relying on ours, but we're really kind of getting the benefit of the a much larger net.
Exactly. So imagining, all the fence contractors in the industry uh, getting their at least their one or two or three cities, and we have some guys that have 10 cities, getting as many cities as they want, but everyone just kind of, you know, banding together to create a mega site, and that's kind of what we're doing with this. And it is a process, so it's not
Sure.
something that happens overnight. But um, like I was telling you before, the the pages when we first started the project, had no authority, right? We started zero, just like anyone else that starts a domain. So it took 3 to 6 months, even starting from zero. It took 3 to 6 months to get a page to rank on the first page of Google for low competition keywords. And we started in a market that was fairly small, so we can do some beta testing, dial
Sure.
in all of the things that we need to dial in with the pages. But as of last month, when we ran the scores last month and we checked the ranking across the board, the new sites that are coming on are ranking on the first page of Google for those same low competition keywords in less than 30 days.
Wow.
So
So, okay. So if someone's watching this and said, "Hey, this is a great idea. I'd love to move forward," and they start next week, probably not. There's probably quite a bit of workload, so that's not feasible. But if one starts next week, within a month, within 30 days, they're ranking first page of Google.
yes, yes.
Wow.
And that's for the low competition keywords. But see,
Sure.
that's where we're starting, and we're going to continue to build that. So the whole
Yeah.
process has to be organic. If we try to inflate it or try to use artificial, um, black hat type of things, and we start getting in that gray area, then you start running the risk of really getting flagged and having bad things happen. So we
Yeah.
really want this thing to grow organically, like planting a seed. You plant that seed, you just don't expect a crop tomorrow. You have to let that thing grow. So
Sure.
that's what we're doing right now.
Which is the best long term play,
Yes.
right? I mean, really, we would like results quickly, but ultimately, as a business, we're looking for sustainable results over a period of time.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, we've seen leads starting to trickle in for these location pages as well. And it's great to be able to see this from this project's perspective and see it happening in different regions in different ways. And we can definitely tell when we hit a area where there's a heavier saturation in in the market. like Fort Worth, Texas,
Sure.
is going to grow substantially slower than
Yeah.
somewhere like Bixby, Oklahoma.
Sure. Yeah. Makes total sense. And because it all comes down to competition, or largely comes down to competition. Nice.
Yeah.
Now, so let's talk about like geographical areas. So we're in Springfield. We bought Springfield, Ozark, Nixa. We bought a few more. We're locked into those, right? Like so
Yes.
that's we're locked into that. So it's like territory exclusivity. Is not like it. That's exactly what it is, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And what's great is we've also opened it up to wild cards. So respectively opened it up to wild cards. Now you're in the unique position where your name of your company is Ozark Fence.
Yeah.
So you you got Ozark, and I would have said, "Duh."
It
Of
makes
course it's
sense.
got
Makes sense.
Ozark.
Yeah. Which is also a really big market for us.
Yeah. So, but companies that are like Jim's Fence,
Mhm.
you know, Jim could come on fencecompany.com and buy Jim as a wild card and then
Okay.
have jim.fencecompany.com. So we opened it up to wild cards. However, territories are exclusive. So
Okay.
springfield.fencecompany.com can only be purchased once,
Makes sense.
especially in Missouri. So if Springfield, Illinois came up, we would have to tag on the state. We'd
Sure.
have to do springfieldil.fencecompany.com, and then we
Makes
would
sense.
we would basically do local targeting for Illinois for Springfield, Illinois.
Yeah.
But
That makes sense.
yeah,
But from now until eternity, we've got Springfield, Missouri. Like,
that's
it's
right.
not really up for competition. It's not really up for anything else. Like that's ours moving forward.
Absolutely, yes. And
So
we tried to make that easy with the one time payment.
yes, which was very nice. So let's talk about that for just a second. Maybe not about how much, but maybe just that it is a one-time payment. In that, as a business owner, that makes it very nice for me because I know a locked-in number for X dollars. This is just going to work. It's not.
Yeah,
Well, we expected in this many months, so we've got a build out cost and then we've got a maintenance cost from this. It's a one-time fee, gets it done.
yeah. So a directory listing, an industry directory listing, if you go out and you get one that's actually relevant to your industry, you're probably going to pay $75 a month. Somewhere around that range.
Sure.
Uh, you know, and again, you're just getting that little directory listing. That's it. We're giving you an entire micro website for one flat rate. And there is an annual maintenance fee to cover our server maintenance, but
Sure.
it's very nominal. I mean,
Sure.
so
The bulk of the cost is up front, meaning
yes.
that you know what your investment is
Yeah.
going into this.
I wanted to
Now let
avoid,
me ask. So say we bought 3 or 4 right up front. Maybe that's where our budget was for that month, for that quarter, etc. But we realize the benefit of it, and a new quarter brings a new budget. We can then, as long as it hasn't been purchased already, we can then add on to our holdings as well. Is that right?
yes, absolutely. The onboarding form is really easy to fill out. You do have to supply some things for us
Sure.
because that's the reason why we've really streamlined this whole process so that we didn't have to have a huge overhead for operation cost. So because of that, you do have to do a little bit of heavy lifting to fill the form out. But yeah, you shaking your head. I know that
Yeah.
it wasn't a big deal.
It was.
Uh,
I think it was a half hour. It's been a little while ago, but I probably could have got it done sooner. I'm probably the only person that does this, but I do like 3 or 4 things at the same time. So I'm filling this out and I'm answering a call and I'm doing this half an hour. And I probably, if I had focused on this thing, I probably could have got it done sooner.
Yeah, and we did add so we've done a couple of upgrades to the form, Joe, since you've signed on. The newest one of the newest things is there's a save and resume feature on the form now. So if you
Okay.
start the form and you're like, I need to go catch this call or have a
Yeah.
meeting come up, or I need to go ask someone what that is. I need to text Benji, you know,
Yeah.
uh,
Right,
all of
right,
those
right.
things. You can do a save and resume at the bottom,
Nice.
and then it will actually email you a URL, a link that you can
Okay.
click to resume and kind of pick up where you left off. So that's pretty neat. The other thing is that we've done a repeat customer feature. So when you start filling the form out, if you've purchased from us before, you can just say, I've purchased before, and then you don't have to fill out any of the other information. You just
Okay.
cities, enter your payment, and you're done. Off to the races.
Even easier.
Yeah.
So, it's like I said, we've bought 3 or 4. I'm ready to buy another one. We can just pull all the information from those others
Yep.
and put it there, and we keep it moving.
Absolutely. Yep.
Excellent. 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 So this was open to clients first, but now my understanding is it's open really to everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. You can go to fencecompany.com, and on there, there's a button where it says join the program, or join fencecompany.com, and you click that, and we have it separated by state. You choose your
Okay.
state. You choose your state, and then you just fill out your form, tick off what cities you want. As those cities are registered, we actually remove them, so they're no longer available for that state. So
Okay.
that's kind of how that works.
Well, it's an easy way to find out if it's available.
Sure. Yep.
Nice. So fencecompany.com is where to start. Click on your state, and then you can see if your city or areas are available.
Yeah. And you can take a look on that too. It's a great place to go to see some of the cities that we've already built out. At the bottom of that, if you look at the directories, there's cities listed there, states and cities that we've had. I think we've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 something, and I think we
Nice.
have a couple dozen that are actually in production right now. So